Well, it's Friday.
Hey, how you doing, Vincent?
You want to spend a quiet weekend at your place?
There's never a quiet weekend for Andrew work.
All right.
Yeah.
Because even if you want to rest quietly in your property, the government is still discussing about property management.
That's right. That's
let's
right.
go today.
If you own a property, or if you sit on a property management committee for your building,
Yep.
you got a new headache
All right.
coming down the line. The government is talking about regulating. It's going to happen in the panel of Home Affairs. They're talking about regulating property management. Right, so saying that if you have a property management company, it's got to be certified, it's got to be regulated, and they want to elevate it to the level of a property management services authority. Which makes authority is quite a big deal. And, not really sure what has prompted this. It's not like there's been a whole spate of bad property management issues in public, but all of a sudden, there just seems to be this need to create a new authority. Fortunately, people are raising some sensible concerns, right? Whenever you dramatically increase the amount of regulation of an industry and you require certification, usually what happens is you shake out a lot of the guys at the bottom end, right? Because they can't afford to compete. The big guys grumble a little bit because it's increased costs, but generally they can absorb those costs in their administration. They have HR managers, they have lawyers, they can deal with it. But the little guys, people who live in, kind of low-end buildings, they're going to have to bear the cost of upgrading. The administrative hassle, the regulatory hassle. People like my aunt. I use my auntie in Mongkok as kind of my test case for these things. She lives in a second floor walk up on Buckeye.
All right.
On the corner of Portland Street.
Yep.
Pretty tough neighborhood.
Yep.
Where all the old triad movies of the '80s were kind of
centered
around there. And I mean, in buildings like hers, the landlord. They're not the landlord. They own the place, but it's pretty. Let's just say it's fairly humble. They're going to manage, the property management. They're going to be like, well, we got to do this and we got to do this and send the guy for training to get him certified, and her fees are going to go up. And she worked as a messenger. You know what I mean? Her husband was,
I know, but
expensive and
especially you're from Lions Rock Institute. You're not for authority and not for more regulations.
Every time I kind of have this.
But I read the documents and the policy papers, and I understand why there's a need for certification for property management.
Lay it on me.
Because the certification, that C is related to another C, corruption.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of the buildings construction work has been not properly or improperly given out to suppliers. Right. So I think they want to keep an eye on that one.
They think it'll happen in property management as well?
Yeah. They from time to time, they observe that, but they have no way to pin the people down because you do not have the authority to make sure that. The problem with that, with most of this authority and certification system is that they tend to micromanage the whole thing. Yeah. Which jacks up the price. And at the end of the day, it will be the property owners who suffer because they have to pay much more higher price for property management. Yeah. I mean, you have to find a balance. I mean, corruption is bad because it also jacks up the price. Yeah. But if you have overly micromanaged property management agencies, then at the end of the day, you just feed the money from the triad people to large property
organizations.
You somehow you have to.
And the authority, Well, I'm sure the authority will be self-financing. Well, where are they going to get that money from? They're going to be taking it out of the pit. So if you're living in the Avenue or what are some of these places called? The Vivacity, the Veracity, the Vivaldi, whatever. A place with a name like that, you can suck it up. But like Auntie in Mongkok, she's going to have to pay, and it's going to hurt. Even in my building, like our facilities are an old lady who. But
hopefully, legislative councillors will strike a balance for us.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. We got an old lady who sits in the front of our building and drinks tea and eats her lunch, and that's our property management. Yeah. I'd hate to see her lose her job because she has to go on some 6-month training course.
Well, speaking of that, there's a special Friday. It's a Black Friday.
Oh yeah, it's Friday.
So
Friday the 13th.
Don't go to too many places. Stay at home and be safe.
Well, I've got to go to a wedding. I got friends getting married tonight. Believe it or not.
On Black Friday.
On Friday the 13th. Yeah. So
interesting.
They're a little unconventional. They're happy to break the traditions.
So if they are getting married in December, so they may give birth to a baby during Halloween.
Maybe. We'll have to see. I don't know if they've in Canada we have an expression.
Well, it's Black Friday. Stay safe.
Yeah. All right.
See you next week.